Let's move on to the Los Angeles Chargers. This is.
I'm gonna make you do it again, but thank you.
Thank you.
Talk about it later. Start again.
Oh, I know what it is. You're damn right. I'm a good person. I'm a good person. I'm a good noodle. I am a good noodle. The Los Angeles Chargers and their season outlook here and their season preview. A good team. Just missed the playoffs last year on that crazy wild game against the Las Vegas Raiders at the end of the season. They just missed. They're looking to get to the next level, and there's one player on that offense that really does need to get to the next level, and a lot of people think he will take that next step. It's Justin Herbert. Aaron, how does Big Herb get to the next level?
I'm going to be honest. I don't come on this show very often unprepared. I usually can rattle off stuff in my head. I pay attention. I do research my off time. I'm a prepared, organized individual. I have no answer for this. I don't know that Justin Herbert improving. I'm not saying he doesn't have any room for improvement, but the next step for Justin Herbert is that he prays to the good almighty football gods that he actually has a defense that's worth a shit. I mean, let's be honest. Justin Herbert has come out his first 2 years and done things we have never seen before. We've broken records being a sophomore quarterback, throwing 38 touchdowns. He had a little bit more interceptions last year, but a lot of that was being forced to come back in games and throw the ball more than he had to and go for it on fourth down and stuff like that. But I don't look at Justin Herbert and say, man, this is a quarterback that he didn't get him to the playoffs. He's not doing enough. And you hear, this is what's funny to me, because you hear quarterbacks like Dak Prescott that are put up numbers that are still questioned like that. I don't know many people are questioning Justin Herbert and his abilities and what he needs to do to get this team to the next level. I think it's about the organization, just the culture of what the Chargers have had over the years of bad luck, misfortune, even with Phillip Rivers. It's just when things start to go right, something goes wrong. And I think that's what's continued to happen with the organization. I'm not looking at Justin Herbert saying, I need to see, quote, this season. I'm looking at Justin Herbert saying, I hope your defense is good enough. And I'll say it again. I don't know that it is. And we'll get into this a little bit later, but all the names are great. All the bright lights are great, but the Chargers still smell to me like this, a ton of names, a ton of talent, and somehow they're just going to let you down.
Oh, man. Man. Lenny from
has
LA
nothing to do with Justin Herbert.
Upset.
Has nothing to do with Justin Herbert. Right now, you put him on some other teams, Super Bowl. I'd put him in the Super Bowl right now. Put him on the Colts. I would tell you that's a Super Bowl football team right now. And the sad part is, if you probably look top to bottom, the Chargers are probably more talented than the Colts. But guess what?
Yeah.
But guess what? Chargers were talented last year. They didn't make the playoffs. Ooh. Not they made the playoffs and had a first-round exit. Not they made the playoffs and it was a close. They didn't make the playoffs at all. And that, to me, is
it's bad business. It's bad business. It's bad business right there. Well, before we go on to the defensive side of things with AJ, I do want to let the Chargers fans know, comment your thoughts on what the problem is below. And if you have a problem with what Aaron just said there about the Chargers as a team just being just...
Come at me, bro. Come
at him. Come at him. Lenny from LA is what I dropped earlier. Defensive side of the ball, AJ, Aaron just made it very clear that the defense is a problem for the Chargers. I don't think I really need to go into exactly why, but one of the biggest things last season for them is they were one of the worst teams in the entire NFL in terms of third down defenses. How do the Chargers improve on that this year?
You said it right. This defense is a problem, and they're going to be for a lot of people this season. I think the biggest step that they took that's going to help them out on third down is what they did in the secondary and the pieces they brought on. You look at the guys they brought, like J.C. Jackson, who's established himself last season as one of the best cornerbacks in the league, not to mention with the 8 interceptions last year, now 25 since he's come into the league in 2018. That's the most in the NFL. Bryce Callahan coming in. He was great for the Broncos last year, only allowed 1 touchdown on his look. about 54% completion when he's in coverage. That's helpful. I think about Asante Samuel, who had a great rookie year, 11 pass deflections, 2 interceptions, comes from good stock, looking to have himself another step, another growth level on this up and coming season. I think the secondary for the Chargers has stepped up significantly, and now they're behind a great linebacking core, adding Khalil Mack, and we can talk about the rush that they're going to have as well. But I think that's the first step, is having those corners that can lock down that secondary. I didn't even mention Derwin James' name, and we all know what he's capable of when they are staying on the field. So to me, that's the first step to really good secondary.
Pump the brakes on the great linebacking core, great pass rushing. Linebackers are not great. Linebacking is actually the weak spot here. But I agree with you, and I disagree with you. I do agree with mostly everything you said. The only thing I will say about the defense is the third down defense specifically. It is about those pass rushers, but it's not just about them getting to the quarterback on third down or DBs being able to cover on third down. It's about what you do on first and second down so that you're in situations in third down that's not 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2. When you get into 3rd and 2 and 3rd and short, the NFL, the percentages on like actually gaining those yardage is much higher. You want to keep teams at 3rd and long. And I think the most important thing there was their run defense was so bad that guys were gashing him 1st and 2nd down, and they'd have 3rd and 1, they'd have 3rd and 2. And of course, offenses are like, we can do so many things in this situation that it makes it easy to convert those 3rd downs. So yes, it's going to matter that they can get to the passer. Yes, J.C. Jackson being able to cover is going to matter. But if they don't stop people on 1st and 2nd down running the football, and they did add pieces in the interior defensive line to help do that, none of those pieces will matter because they still won't be able to get off the field on 3rd downs, and they still will keep that high-powered offense off of the field. So I like everything you said, and I do agree to an extent, but those 1st and 2nd down plays are going to be so huge in stopping the run. And again, they addressed it, but it still has to actually take place on the field. And like I said before, they can have every all-pro, every great player, and until I see it, I ain't gonna believe it.
What's wrong with these linebackers? What's wrong with Bosa and Khalil and?
No. I mean, but they're not the traditional linebacker. Those guys aren't playing. They're not stopping the run in the middle of the field. They are pass rushers. They are playing on the outside. Well, you can stop there because Kenneth Murray, Troy Reader, Nick Neiman, Drew Tranquill. Those guys are all unproven and have to show that they can play the game of football at this level. Now, again, you can look at the position itself and you have the top of Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, but they're not doing what I'm talking about. They're not lining up 5-7 yards off the ball, having to fill a gap, go make a tackle downhill. That's not their game. They are pass rushers.
James doing that this year.
I know.
James doing that this year.
Well, that's the thing. They brought in what's that kid? The kid from Baylor that they brought in, the safety. What?
JT Woods.
JT Woods. That's it. JT Woods.
Yeah.
I wanted to say
another thumper.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like they bring in a Jalen Wood. Like he comes in and he lets Derwin James do a little bit more and be a little bit more free in that defense. And Dylan on the show before brought up his guy and Drew Tranquill. He said he's going to be a guy that we'll see.
We're not arguing here because we all look at the roster and say, "Man, these guys are great."
It should be great. It should be.
I
ain't
believing it until I see it.
Because I definitely did say how this has been one of the better defenses in my mind every preseason, and it just has never come to fruition. However, this year is different.
It's going to be different. It's going to be different.
Support for Sac City is brought to you by Manscaped.com. The products are precision engineered, tools for your family, jewels. The Performance Package, Ultimate Men's Hygiene Bundle, so you can join over 6 million worldwide who trust Manscaped. We have an exclusive offer, 20% off. Free worldwide shipping if you just type in the code SACCITY at checkout. And if my math is correct, that's about 12 million balls, Vinny and AJ.
That's so many balls. That's so many balls.
And the Performance Package 4.0 is a game changer. Inside the pack, you get the Lawnmower 4.0. You get the Weed Whacker nose and hair trimmer. You get your little deodorant, foot deodorant. You get your little, what is it? What do they call it, Vinny? The Crop Preserver ball deodorant. So your balls smell fresh. You get ball toner. And again, this is Manscaped. You get a pair of boxer briefs to boot. So go and get 20% off and free shipping with the code SACCITY at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com.
Aaron, what is the defining part of the Los Angeles Chargers schedule this year?
Hold that thought. Let me grab my handy dandy Los Angeles Chargers schedule here. For me, it's down the stretch. And down the stretch, they have a deceivingly tough schedule. When you talk about their back half of the season, look at the right side column there. Niners, Chiefs, Raiders, Dolphins. And the worst team in that list is the Tennessee Titans, who won the AFC.
He's right, though. He's right.
Talk about a tough schedule. I think it's important for the Chargers to get off to a very, very fast start. And I mean 7-8-1 to start the season, because that back half of that schedule there's going to be some losses there. And to be honest, I have them getting off to a hot start. I'll give you my record in a little bit, but I do have them getting off to a hot start, which does allow them to be fighting for a playoff spot. But that back half, good luck. That's a gauntlet right there to go through, and it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, that is. I remember you guys can go back and watch our off-season prediction show for the Los Angeles Chargers when we broke down their schedule on our YouTube page at Sac City Pod. I don't recall like actually registering in my head how tough that right side of that schedule was. Like that is all playoff teams right there. Like,
well, it helps that Dolphins go get Tyreek Hill, Colts go get Matt Ryan after, So there are some. Denver obviously now has Russell Wilson, which I believe they did at the time anyways. Yeah, but there are some things there that have transpired that make you change your tune a little bit. But for sure, that's a brutal schedule.
Yeah, and we talk about how like with these divisional games too, like it's easier to when you talk about splitting it. We always say that these games, it's toss-ups with teams like Los Angeles and Kansas City and Los Angeles and Las Vegas and stuff like that. They're toss-ups. They normally split. They split on the road. Like they lose on the road, they'll win at home. Even on that right side of that schedule, you're on the road against Vegas. You're on the road against the Broncos. You're on the road against Indy. You're on the road against Arizona. Like that's
five road games in that stretch too. Like the front part of that season, they actually got lucky that Deshaun Watson suspended, because otherwise you start the season with the Raiders and Chiefs, and you got at Cleveland there, which would make it tough. But without Deshaun Watson, they should be able to get that one done. It's not an easy schedule for them, which is a little strange because it's a third place schedule in their division because they finished in third. But however it worked out, the offseason improvements of some of those third place teams really put the Chargers in a tough spot.
Chargers fans, how you guys feeling in the comments? Let us know, because I want to know your reactions to this. What your comfort level is when you look at the schedule, and especially that right side. Let's go into what we're watching for. AJ, what are you looking for during this season?
So I think we were just talking about the defense and how it's going to be different this year, and I think the reason and what to watch for is going to be Brandon Staley. We questioned a lot of his choices last season, rightfully so. We questioned his aggressiveness, mediocrely so. I think this season, now that he has the names on the roster, let's remember he is a defensive style coach. What adjustments does he make to that defense to stop the rushing waters that go through the dam that is their linebacking core that allows everyone to run for how many ever yards they so please? What does he do to address every single team that's coming up on his roster? Now that he's got the names on his side of the ball, can he allow the offense to work in its own and him focus on the defense? It's kind of like, and remember the Titans when Coach Boone's like, you handle your defense, I'll handle my offense. That's where Brandon Staley needs to be. You're the head coach. I get it. You got to do a little more, but handle your defense. Make sure that they are buttoned up, because we saw what Justin Herbert's capable of. We saw Mike Williams come to life on that offense. We know what Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler's about, and you're very high, and so is the Los Angeles Chargers on Isaiah Spiller. This offense has the weapons, but if they stay on the field or they can't stay on the field because the defense is trash, that needs to be fixed, basically.
I think you hit it.
Yeah.
I think you hit it right there.
Moral of the story, I ain't going to believe it until I see it.
Get it together, Chargers defense. Get it together. All right, let's go on to their prop bets this season. And hopefully this looks better than the Las Vegas Raiders prop bets. Maybe a little bit tougher of a time. Over under 10.5 wins. Over 1,400.5 yards, total yards for Austin Eckler. And over 36.5 Justin Herbert passing touchdowns. Aaron again shaking his head. Aaron again shaking his head.
Chargers. 10.5. Over under of 10.5 wins is a lot of wins, like in the NFL. Like the difference between 8 wins and 10 wins in the NFL is so minute. When you got an over under sitting at 10.5 wins, that means and it's under money, so they think they're going to get 11 wins here. That's a high number there. I don't trust that one. For me, the easy answer is Austin Eckler here. I think the total yards of 1,400. I think he runs for close to 1,000, if probably 1,000, and he's going to get another 400 on the ground or through the air. So give me the Austin Eckler over 1,400.5 yards, minus 115. I think that's the lock out of these three. Herbert 36 is close, but he could throw 36 touchdowns and right on the number there. That could be a really good line. Give me the 1,400 for Austin Eckler.
AJ?
That's the right answer, but let's have some fun. We want to see that next level for Herbert. That's where it's at. Herbert's going for 40 touchdowns this season. Let's do it. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that over. I'm gonna bet some money. We're not make a safe bet, but we're also betting to have some fun. So let's have some fun. Make that safe bet on Austin Eckler, and then take the money you win from that. And hopefully that's what you get back when you also hit Justin Herbert over 36.5 touchdowns. Let's do it.
I mean, he threw 38 last year, so it's not unheard of.
Right.
So, but he had a great year last year, and the 38 was a lot. So,
it is a lot.
Let me add a bonus. Let me add a bonus. Big Herb over under bet over under 4,700.5 passing yards.
Over under what?
4,700 passing yards.
Over.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the same reason I was thinking about the touchdowns, man. These are going to be some fights.
17 games, and with barring him missing a game, 17 games, 4,700 yards. That's about right.
Yeah, that's what it's at minus 115 for minus 110. Sorry, for that right now on the Big Herb. Let's get to the nitty gritty, gentlemen. Record predictions here. Off season, you had Aaron. You had 10-7. AJ, you had 11-6. I had 12-5. Where are we at here nowadays, boys? Where are we at, Aaron?
I'll tell you, I have them remaining at 10-7, but I did want to kind of break down how I have that 10-7. It's really strange. I talked about the back half of that season. I have them starting the season with 2 losses all the way up through Arizona. 2 losses through Arizona. I have them losing 5 of their last 6 games. And this to me is going to be, again, the brutals down the stretch. And then you can kind of, maybe they get one early or don't get one early. Maybe they win one late. But I do have them going 10-7. I think the schedule's too brutal. I don't see how they're going to get to 11 and 12 wins with that schedule. And don't let them start 1-1 or 0-2 against that division foes, because then you're starting to keep your eye on that 49ers game. Like, once we get that game, we have to go on a run. I still think Brandon Staley's a little too young. I think that team's a little too young to have to deal with that late in the season. We saw it last year. I think we see it again this year.
So now that you'll, I'll go to your predictions, AJ, in a second. But Aaron, your predictions are in with 10-7 Broncos, 10-7 Chargers, 10-7 Raiders. You lock that in. Who's the most likely team to miss the playoffs out of those 3 teams?
I can't tell you. You'll have to stay tuned for our September show. I can't tell you that. That's our September show. When we break down the season preview and pick our Super Bowl.
Are you teasing?
I am teasing. Tune in September. Oh, it's either 6th, 7th, or 8th. 6th or 7th. Tune in. I will tell you which of these teams in the AFC West will be on the outside looking in. Tune in.
AJ, come up clutch.
I will tell you my prediction. No,
there you go.
I'm also staying pat at 11-6. I'm basically on board with Aaron. We have a couple shuffles where our wins and losses come on the back half and as well as the front half. But let me keep that 11-6. And I think that's a very fair number because I also believe that they're going to be very good this season. So 11-6 to me is actually safe.
And I went unsafe, and I went 12-5 for the Los Angeles Chargers here. And now I just want to look back over. I wrote down my wins and losses before when we did this in the offseason, and I just want to look at this again and think split against all division teams, win against Jacksonville, win against Houston, win against Cleveland, win against Seattle, win against Atlanta. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh man,
Atlanta's going 16-0, 17-0, bro. What you talking about?
That's true. Atlanta is going 17-0. I'm sorry to disrespect the great Marcus Mariota. So one loss. Let's go 2 loss, 3, 4. Yeah, I'll lock in 12-6. I'll lock in 12-6 for the Los Angeles.
12-6. You got to play an extra
play
game.
some
Huh? We
extra
count
games?
preseason now.
12-5. Math is very hard. I'm actually predicting I'm actually predicting their one playoff loss when they make the playoffs and they lose in the first round. That's what I'm predicting there. But 12-5 will be my locked and loaded prediction for the Los Angeles Chargers. Aaron, where do they rank in our power rankings?
Yeah, so we talked about the kind of jumbled mess in the AFC West, and it continues when we look at our power rankings. We put them at number 11. Consensus rankings, all of our rankings kind of measured out. We did some calculations, arithmetic, and math, and it came out as the Los Angeles Chargers at number 11. So we have Chargers at 11, Raiders at 12. Those are the two teams we discussed today, and then right behind them is their division foe and the Denver Broncos at 13. It makes for an interesting look into our top 10, as I think we've only had one team so far, or two teams in the top 10.